You're listening to Chameleon Church. Biblical Antidotes for the Modern Man. With your host, Allan Aguirre.
Hey, good morning. So listen, we've got these, I guess there's issues. See this StreamYard. Live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Click on a comment to show it on screen. Why is it saying that? We don't want that. We don't want to show any of that. Weird. So, hey, good morning, everybody. We are here. I'm back. Let me put my head on because I'm a hot mess this Tuesday morning. I wasn't here last week because I was sick. And so timelines are everything, and they're incredibly important. And when you're talking to somebody about the things of God or even about themselves, and their timeline doesn't jive, and there's like big huge gaps and holes in their timeline, they're probably not telling the truth, and they're hiding something, and it's very suspicious. And when a person doesn't know their own timeline, what's up with that? Timelines are very important. We see that in the biblical order of things. If you look at the Old Testament, it's like, there's stuff going on and there's a timeline, and they're incredibly important. Here's why I bring it up. So 2 Thursdays ago, what was that? 2.5 weeks ago. And I shared this with you 2 Tuesdays ago. We're setting up the studio, and my wife and I are in the studio looking at it, at the room and the layout and the colors we're going to paint the walls and what walls we're going to color what. And we're going to turn it into a video recording studio as well as set up the recording studio. And we're talking about that, right? My wife and I are having a strategic planning to do milestone, powwow. And out of nowhere, she blurts, "You have to do a devotional for the Feast Unlocked and have it out by Hanukkah." And I'm like, in my spirit, bore witness with that. Completely 100% bore witness with that. And not only did it bore witness with it, but I saw it. I saw this devotional she's talking about. And I shared that with you guys. So, it's come up before. Some of you have even suggested it, but it's just, there was no connect. Well, there was a connect there. And there has to be agreement with your spouse. When it comes to the prophetic things, when it comes to prophetic utterances or things of that nature, there has to be agreement with your spouse in order for them to come to pass. If you're single, you have to have agreement with the Spirit in order for those things to come to pass, or they just get lost like in, prophetic cyberspace or whatever. But there has to be agreement. Well, there's agreement there. So that was on a Thursday or on a Friday, 2.5 weeks ago. Monday morning, I wake up, and I even posted a picture. I'm in the living room, in the fireplace, and I'm just down. The Lord's downloading this thing. Okay, so it's called The Amazing Journey from Exodus to Ingathering. It's 1 part devotional, 1 part calendar, and 1 part journal. And it's a standalone piece from the Feast Unlocked. It's not a companion piece. It can be, and it is, but it's a standalone publication. You'll be able to buy this without the feast book, and you're good to go. Of course, you probably have both, but you know what I mean. So, and it has a calendar. It has the Torah portions for the week, and it's based on the 50. It's based on the Shabbat. So that's our anchoring point, the weekly Shabbat, because we can't really do the new moon, because the new moon, some of you do visible, some of you don't do visible crescent, so it was easier to just do Shabbat. But we do have the new moon dates. We have the Gregorian dates following the 52-week Shabbat, and then you have, and we're starting with the first month of Abib, and then you have all the feast breakdowns. And so it's actually a feast calendar without a calendar in a devotional journal type of thing. So it's 1 part devotional, 1 part journal, one part calendar, 1 part journal. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how excited I am about this. So I started on Monday morning. I wake up and I'm like sitting there working at the fireplace with my coffee on my iPad. It's rad, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, all the kids get sick. I'm helping with field trips at the same time. I'm out for the next 7 days. I'm like completely out of the loop. I only work Monday morning. I do very little work for the rest of the week regarding this. And then that weekend we were out of town at the Montage with my wife's event. And then I come and I get sick. So on Saturday, I'm sick. I don't get sick very often. So when I do, it hits me hard to the point that I can't do the show last week. I can't even talk. I mean, you think I'm froggy voice now. You should have heard me last week. It was like, it was horrible. So I have to cancel the show. So Thursday, Friday, we get the revelation download of doing this thing. On Monday, I start working on it, and then I'm out for the rest of the week with dealing with sick kids, all that stuff. Then I get sick, and now and I can't do the show. And all of last week, I'm like down for the count. I'm sick, and I'm barely able to work on this. I mean, I'm barely able to put together the format, the layout, all that stuff, so that I know what I'm writing. So timelines are important. The Lord speaks, there's alignment, and then there's like 2 weeks of like crazy. The last couple 2 or 3 nights are the best sleep I've had in the last 2 weeks. It's been rough. As you can tell, I'm still a bit congested. But we've got the formula, we've got the template, we know what we're doing. It's so exciting. So I just want brief quickly what it is, and then we'll get on with the show. Devotionals are like little, they're little digests, they're little doses in when it comes to a devotional. They're short little, quick little in and out. Here's a nice little passage, and here's a little anecdote, and then the devotionals are like, well, my devotionals are like this. They're like 1,500 words, so that's not going to work. So I'm writing the devotionals like I normally would write, but they're pushing like 1,500 words, and then we're going to truncate them to the little dose that they're supposed to be for the digest, the devotional part of the. We're calling it the amazing journey from Exodus to Ingathering, and it's like I said, devotional calendar journal, the DCJ. Let's call it that, or something. I don't know how, but anyway. So we're taking these 1,500 word devotionals that I'm writing, these Bible studies that I'm writing, that coincide with the feast. They coincide with the Torah portion, and they don't. They do and they don't. It's you'll see, and we're condensing them down to the devotional, right? And then that'll come out. I mean, we're talking, it's a bigger page size. It'll have the metal coil binding so you can lay it flat. I mean, this is going to be awesome. But then what am I doing with all this rich content? So all the full devotionals we're then compiling into another separate publication, 52 weeks, and that's the Exodus to Ingathering Field Manual. Yes. 2 publications, 2 standalone publications. 1 part devotional, 1 part calendar, 1 part journal over here. Standalone, spiral metal binding, rad journal, calendar thing. Awesome. And then there's this field manual that's going to have the whole thick devotional part of it for those 52 weeks. So we're coming out with 2 different publications, and they're standalone. Oh my gosh, it is. I am so excited. Yes, I would work with them both together, right? Because one's like the compass for your navigate this journey. So, right, you have your devotional calendar journal thing, right? And God's just downloading, and we're walking you. We're holding your hand. I mean, we've got 4 prayer modules, prophetic insight, spiritual warfare, battle tactics, kingdom lifestyle. I mean, plus your journaling part. I mean, this is rad. Well, but if you also have the full field manual, it'll just enrich this process. Absolutely excited, mind blown. Working at it again. We're shooting for Hanukkah. I don't know if we're going to be able to make that date because we still got to print it, but it'll be on or around Hanukkah, and we're working feverishly to do this. And in spite of all this. And one more update. So you guys, I told you guys, I don't know, a couple months ago that I had found out that an ambassador, the Root Awakening ministry, their partners, their financial partners, I found out that one of them was missionary to Ghana. Remember that? And that they were utilizing my Facebook. Ta-da! They were utilizing the Facebook and the workbook to teach Ghanaians, the feasts. Well, they came back after 3 weeks of being out there, and I talked to them yesterday. They reached out to me yesterday, and they gave me an update on their 3-week trip of teaching Ghanaians. I don't know what the right word is. People from Ghana, the feast, and they just see that right there. They just ordered 30 how-tos and 30 workbooks to ship to Ghana for. How does that happen? How does this become the curriculum for a nation? It's humbling and overwhelming. Thank you very much. Thank you, Father. And you guys are all a part of it. Okay, the chat is working. It was saying that the chat in here wasn't working. So Darryl is out there doing his thing, and we lost Jamie to another show. Flying solo. So I promised you guys we'd have some guests. So, and that's what we're going to do. So we have some people. What's going on here in the chat? Let me check it out real quick. Da, 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 da. I know it's exciting. I'm just so. Oh, hey Kevin, you're back. Can't wait. We're so excited. So yes, the field manual is going to be awesome. So if you go to Facebook, here, let me type it in real quick. It's if you go to facebook.com/Exodus to Ingathering. That's the new Facebook page for this new book. I'm gonna have to blow my nose. This is getting crazy. But let me introduce you to our guest. His name's Jeremy Yoder. He presently lives in Ohio. I met him at a friend's wedding back in 2008, I believe it was, and that was it. He's a prophetic worship leader. He's a prophetic psalmist, and I am absolutely awesome. I'm so stoked to have him here today because it's gonna, bam, Jeremy.
Hey man, what's up?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm great. I'm doing well, man.
Isn't that crazy what God's doing over here?
It's nuts.
So awesome. So
Ghana, dude.
Oh, and I forgot to tell everybody, it's November 12th. You're watching the Chameleon Church Show. My name's Allan Aguirre. I'm your host. And there is no snow out here in Utah.
Oh, we got like 6 inches in Ohio last night.
Wow.
Crazy.
We don't have it. I mean, there's no snow outside. I mean, we've got it in the mountains. I mean, at the 9,000 feet level, you'll find some on the ground. But other than that, we're snow-free.
Oh, I'd rather be there right now.
Talk to me in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, right. Exactly. Might flip-flop a little bit.
So this is my buddy Jeremy Yoder. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on here. Like, man, we go way back. It feels like anyway. I know we met in 2008, but I feel like we've been friends for longer than that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How's that only 11 years?
I know, right? I feel like we grew up together in a lot of ways, and like we knew each other along. I don't know. It's just one of those spiritual things where you just go, "Oh
right.
my gosh, you're my bro."
Yeah, right. Remember when we did that meeting at the where was that in hotel?
Oh, Opryland Hotel.
Opryland, right?
Yep.
Remember when we were at the Opryland Hotel having those strategic meetings regarding the objective?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that feels like a long freaking time ago?
I mean, the stuff that we talked about and all the planning that went into that, and some of the things we know kind of happened and some of the things didn't happen. Now, but I look at that and I go, wow. Like, I think God was in that moment drawing our hearts together as friends and as like in the prophetic and recognizing what he was doing globally, music wise, and for musicians, right. You know what I mean? Who both have this heart for musicians. We brought into the truth. Bless you, brother.
Right back.
Yeah. Hey, let me talk for a little bit. So anyway, when Al and I met, that was a real major turning point for an organization called the Extreme Tour and what was happening there. And that's kind of how we then continued our relationship was with through that organization. And you know how sometimes just talking about timeline, things happen for a purpose. man, I wasn't ready for that. A lot of in my own heart on the prophetic side, I just recognized what I was supposed to do music wise. And it was kind of coming into that. I still feel like I'm still coming in to the whole idea of what prophetic music is and being a prophetic person in the arts and what that means. I'm just starting to scratch the surface on what that really means and what that could mean, like you were talking about, Alan, to the nations.
Yeah.
Like the nations, not just Ohio and not just Cleveland.
Right.
You know what I'm
I've
saying?
met so many people in the last 2 years that live in Ohio. It's really bizarre. It's weird. It's like,
Wow.
oh, you're in Ohio too? It's weird.
I don't know,
Sorry
man.
about that. I thought I was actually well enough to do this show this morning, but hey, I'm well enough to do it if you guys can handle a couple sneezes where I have to run out the door. Just think of Go Ghostbusters, and I was slimed there for a bit.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Hey man, these people have seen worse on this, I think, on this show.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
so we meet in 2008. Where did we meet? I'm gonna prod you to
Yeah, man.
pull information out of you to give
Yeah.
these people the story of why you're even here, why we're even pals, why we're even linked in shields as brothers
Yeah.
in the Lord and all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
where did we meet? How do we meet?
Well, let me back up a little bit before that and how I got to be at this wedding. 2005, I'm out at this thing called the Extreme Tour, doing my tunes, doing my show as a solo acoustic artist, and God downloads to me the very first night on the very first date of the tour that I'm supposed to lead worship. And I'm like, that's not what I'm here for. You know, I do a
Extreme
couple
Tour,
worship.
right?
Yeah, the Extreme
Yeah.
Tour.
And I've all these people have heard about the Extreme Tour and the Objective.
Awesome. So God downloads to me. I do my set, and that we end the set with worship, and the Spirit just falls, man, and it's heavy, and we're all just broken and recognizing that we're all here for a purpose. And I realize my purpose is to lead worship for the bands. Like that's what I'm supposed to do. So I spend the rest of the tour basically doing that. I did my show once in a while. Some nights I didn't even set out merchandise because I knew I was supposed to lead worship, man.
So then those of you watching, do you hear that familiar story? Oh, Jeremy Yoder's on the Extreme Tour and he realizes he's there to do what? Serve the band. Remember what we talked about? Remember what's in here? It's all about, oh, I'm here to serve these bands.
Bam.
Ungrateful little snot-nosed bands.
Right, but that's who Jesus was, man.
Yep. Absolutely.
I think about that. I think about sorry. I think about the true humility that Jesus showed, and the true, like, that's real stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's no joke. It's like, oh yeah, humble yourself before the Lord. No, like, get your freaking heart smashed and don't do the thing that you thought you wanted to do your whole life. Do this, and it's better.
Right. If you get from this step to that step to realize that, oh, this is better than what I was planning. It's that journey between here and there.
Yeah.
Actually, my other book that I was supposed to be writing, from Identity Crisis, is now called Incorruptible. God's changing my plans on me as I'm making them.
Right.
It addresses the journey. You know what's the difference between this guy, this nominal 1 talent guy, and this guy who's the 5 talent guy? What's the journey between being that guy and this guy? And that is apparently what I've addressed the majority of the 40 years that I've been saved. I've addressed that piece.
Yeah. So I at the Objective 2 years ago, and I'm leading worship, and the last little thing that we do, which was in this housing kind of low income area, and that school that we kind of been meeting at the last couple of years at the Objective, and I'm leading like the last worship set, and people are being prayed for, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And this girl comes up to me afterwards, and she goes, "I want what you have. Like, I want to do that." And I go, "You really don't. You don't know what I've had to go through to be there. But if you do want it, let's pray for that. But be ready. It's not what you think it is."
Right.
Like, you get where it is. You understand, like, that's what I want. I want to surrender my life to that.
Yeah.
Do you? Do you really? Because to get to that point,
Yeah, it's
You
like
know,
when we were on in 2010 on the Extreme tour. Oh man, I wish I had a tour bus. Well, are you waiting to pay the cost? Well, how
oh
much
my,
does it cost? Oh, I'm not talking about money.
mm-mm.
So
No, 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 no.
let's bring up everybody to speed. How did we meet?
So then we met at the director's wedding, actually, for the Extreme Tour and
Right.
the Objective. Our friend Ted, my heart, my buddy, and we didn't know each other at all, man. We had met there. He was singing a song. I was leading worship. He was wearing a kilt. I was not. Allan was who Allan is, which was just. I was like, I love this dude already. I don't even know him, but I got the quintessential. Oh, well, you meet Allan. He's a little bit different. He's a little out there, but he's really a good guy. I think you'll really like him. And we became.
I love it how people have to like apologize for me. You know, he really is saved.
He really is a good guy. But I mean, even I was like, I was like, oh, this guy's great. Yeah, totally. I mean, he gave me the what's up, musician guy. Hey, how you doing? Then I led worship, and he's like, oh, okay, right on. And he's like, yeah, all right, brother, we're on the same page. And so like that drew us together, and we had a great time. But then every year we would meet for the Objective. Every year we'd talk about the Extreme Tour. We helped to organize some of that. And the more we talked and the more we understood where each other were in life, and understanding truth and understanding the Father's direction for our lives, we just drew close. Every year we continue to draw, even though we're far away from each other now, man. When we see each other, it's like, brother, man, we're on the same page. So yeah, that's how we first met. And then again, it was pretty much with the Extreme Tour. We just continued to connect, and the Objective, connect.
Yeah.
Over calls. Hey, what are you doing, man? I don't know what I'm doing. What are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sure what the Lord's doing. And then boom, here's what the Lord's doing.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like we both have that thing where you were like, man, I'm not so sure if I should do this book. I'm not so sure, what my next step is. And, things have kind of like been in transition here. I know we're supposed to be where we are, right? I've heard you say that so many times, like, where you're supposed to be. This is the Lord's calling, and this is what you're supposed to do. But what is going on? And then boom, you get a download. And then boom, you get a download. And then boom, this is what we're supposed to do. And now it's just like click, 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 click.
Right.
And you go ahead open-handed, like, okay, God, I'm
Right.
going to follow you today, right? Today.
If any of you watching out there in the chat, if you have any discernment, you're discerning that Jeremy is a steadfast, he's grounded. And you can see that he carries a grounding spirit of, oh man, I don't know, what is the word for that? But if you have any discernment, you're discerning this about Jeremy, that he's a stable, grounded brother in the Lord. And there's stability there. You can see the spirit of stability on him. And I've never even said that about you, have I?
I haven't, dude. That's very humbling, man.
But I'm saying that, and I'm sharing that with everyone now, because Jeremy, because of that gifting that Jeremy has, I can call Jeremy up and go, hey, let me run this by you.
Yeah.
Because Jeremy's going to hear it, and he's going to have an unbiased ear, and he's going to be able to go, oh, or, and he's one of those brothers that I have in my life that I can run something by him, knowing I'm going to get an honest, godly, brotherly counsel from, versus, you know what I'm saying? There's not going to be, what is it? In him, there is no guile.
I just want to be your yes man, Allan. I just want to be your yes man. Just put me in your cabinet. I'll be your yes man.
and so
goes the way.
yeah. And so, because Jeremy mentioned a couple things, and about our relationship. He knew about I'm in Utah, and this thing just blew up in my face after waiting 18 years to move here.
Oh, jeez.
He knew we were in Dallas waiting to move here. He knew about the Riley Agency, the Joshua Principle.
Did the upper room thing with you there, and the we did some video stuff together that really never came to fruition. Sorry, it was probably my fault.
So there's been all this stuff. So he's been even though it's only been 11 years, that doesn't make any sense. He knows every step that's happened in the last 11 years. for me to get to where I am today,
Hmm.
or to be where I am today. Whether it was the Riley agency where we're making $1 gazillion a day to I'm hemorrhaging $1 gazillion a day because I'm doing ministries walking.
Right.
Right. And just that whole ministries walking thing.
Mhm.
And then the stuff with the objective, and then coming, finally after 18 years coming to Utah, and then having that blow up in my face right after we get here. And then now what? And then just the craziness that it's been to be here. And then, hey, I think I'm supposed to write a book.
Wow. And I'm like, what? I did not see that coming at all.
Right?
We started talking about that. I'm like, whoa. Either he's really right. I mean, guy's really doing something here, or he's starting to go off his rocker. But I've never seen Allan go rogue. It's always he'll start to go somewhere, and then, Lord, is that you? And then he'll follow, and then he'll move with where the Spirit's saying. So I was like, dude, I'll be right here for you. I'll listen. But I don't see anything wrong with this. I think you're right on, man. I think you're going. Right. I think it's crazy, but I think you're right on.
My concern was this. Keith Green, in his book, the autobiography about, do you have it? Pull it out.
No Compromise.
You have it?
No, I can go get it.
Okay. So let's do that for these people. In the book No Compromise by Keith Green that he's about to bust out, it's suggested that one of the reasons, he died because he had this plane, and he bought this plane. And the only reason why he bought this plane was because he wanted to be an evangelist. And his leadership told him, you're not an evangelist. You're a prophetic worship guy.
So it's in my other church library.
No problem. And they warned him about, you better make sure you're supposed to be doing this evangelism stuff and not functioning as a prophetic psalmist that you are.
Ooh.
See, that's the only reason. Remember that?
I do.
That's the only reason why he had that stinking plane that killed him.
And
I've always gone, because that's everything. I mean, that's everything. You don't do the evangelism thing if you're a prophetic psalmist.
I literally 2 weeks ago, I'm doing a lot of research now on prophetic and stuff, and I'm getting those chills. I wanted to ask Jerry Bryant, who's a friend of mine, who was his pastor.
Let's tell people who Jerry Bryant is.
So Jerry Bryant was the pastor that helped him in New Day Ministries there Last Days Ministries in where were they, in the Colorado?
Well, they were in Southern Cal, and then they moved to Texas.
That's right.
Near the YWAM base.
That's right. They had the farm, they had the ranch, and
no, it wasn't Waco. No,
it was outside. Yeah. So Jerry was basically the pastor oversight for that ministry, and it was Keith's right-hand guy. They were together in this. Think of the worship guy and the pastor guy. But Keith was also a pastor, obviously. He had the pastoral gifts, but Jerry was the oversight and the heart behind the pastoral side of that ministry.
And Jerry Bryant's a friend of ours. We met him. He works with us with the Objective now. And
unbelievable.
When did we meet him? 4, 5, 6
5 years ago? Yeah,
something like that.
Yep.
Great guy. I mean, he knows everybody. I mean, if you follow Jerry Bryant on Facebook, you'll see that. Oh yeah, last weekend he just spent 2 hours interviewing Amy Grant.
Yeah. What is going on?
Part 2.
Yeah, right.
And then a few weeks before that, he's with both Talbot brothers.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
Just hanging out. They're like, oh, Jerry.
Right? And some of you watching or listening might know about that ministry of, he's an American that moved his entire family a few years ago to the Judean mountains in Samaria, and he's taught Israelis organic farming, and they're actually fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
Tommy Waller,
I think it is Waller. Yeah.
There's this movie testimony about him doing all this. Anybody watching know this? Well, Jerry Bryant's the one that connects. So I watched this documentary about this Tommy Waller guy who leaves an executive position with UPS or FedEx or something.
Yeah.
Moves to Israel and does organic farming. and they're like harvesting the mountains of Judea with secular Jews, and they're coming to Jesus because they're like, you're fulfilling prophecy. And he's bringing these, anyway, Tommy Waller. And so anyway, he introduces me, Jerry Bryant. So I watched this documentary here in Utah. 2 weeks later, I'm in Nashville. I meet Jerry Bryant, and he asks me, do you know Tommy? Because I'm like, Messianic Torah guy. And I'm like, I just saw a documentary about him. And then like literally within hours, I'm like face to face with the guy. Wow. That's Jerry Bryant. That's the pull Jerry Bryant has.
Well, I wanted to ask him, like, and I haven't done this yet. I probably will this year at some point when I get the chance. But like, man, what was it from your perspective that led to that plane ride?
Right.
Like,
so
was there truly disobedience there, or was it just a thing?
Right. So there's this hanging question in the book that, well,
I know
if Keith hadn't pursued the role of an evangelist, which is the only reason why he had the plane, and had stuck to what he was supposed to be doing, a prophetic psalmist, he wouldn't have prematurely died. He died when he was 28. Okay, that's when you Torah. Okay, Torah tells us that when you do Torah, you live your full life. So there was something happened there, and it's the enemy will go after some of us and try to kill us prematurely because of the authority we carry. Anyway, so that question has come up, and so when it came to do I write a book, I was terrified of, is that what I was doing? Am I leaving my role or position as a prophetic psalmist to be a writer?
Wow.
And I was like, good.
I was with you, dude. I was so with you on that.
I was absolutely terrified.
So with you, man. I was too. I was like, oh, that's where my prayers were like, okay, Lord, like show Allan exactly what he's supposed to do here. Now don't let him get off on a tangent that he's not. And some of me was like, well, good luck with that one. Because I mean, you'll know quickly whether you're being obedient.
I was doing this with my parachute.
Yeah, right.
Because I was like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
And I was absolutely terrified. So it's like, well, I'm discerning that this is what I'm supposed to do. Well, here we are 2.5 years later. And apparently it was okay. This is
looking all right so far.
Yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be. But it's not like I'm abandoning music. It's like I'm ready to do an album. I was ready to do an album before I wrote the Feast book.
Yeah.
I am so ready to do a record. And he's like, so I'm hopefully I'll be able to do that next year. So
that's awesome.
That's why we're putting together the studio. So
I'm actually going into the studio Friday, dude.
Really?
I am.
What are you gonna do in there?
Woo! Yeah.
What are you gonna do in the studio on Friday?
I don't know yet. That's the funny thing, is that I've been working on some ambient, creative, post-rock, prophetic, healing music. And I think that's where the Lord is beginning to lead me. I've sung a lot of things and I've said a lot of words, and I'm ready to let the music just allow itself to speak. David, I don't think, went in and sang a good old tune for Saul. He didn't get a good old ditty in there that gave him all this great theology. He came in and he played his harp or his lyre. He just played.
Yep.
And the demonic spirit sent from the Lord left him.
We talk about that
it's in the book. It's in the book. I know. Yeah. So like, there's a key there that I've just been marinating in for a few years. Gosh, years on what does that look like? What does that sound like? And why you have a juxtaposition in music. You have the artist, right, in the heart of the artist and who they are, and on the inner side of who they are, and then you have the sound, right? So you have these two things that have to come together. I get myself for art to be prophetic. You have to have two things, man. It can't just be a guy with a great heart and like loves the Lord and then puts out crap that doesn't sound good because he hasn't worked on his craft. But when you have somebody who's worked on his heart and his art, and then he's also then Like there's something special that drops into that, where now people are hearing something and going, oh, because even the people around Saul were saying, find somebody who can play well.
Yeah.
That's all they were looking for, somebody who can play well, because just music itself has an inherent quality of healing. There's something in there that is special, that God made it that way. So much so that the enemy just wants to steal that, and has stolen it for so many centuries, man.
And perverted.
Perverted, huge. You can get what you want. You can have sex, you can have drugs, you can have rock and roll, all the things that'll make you feel great and then kill you. Yeah. It's just the enemy, man. It's just, it just gets me so, I don't want to cuss, dude. It gets me so mad because he's perverted it for so long, but there's a time coming. There is a time coming when that's going to change, and that power that the Beatles saw, the power that was meant for God, the power that's in that inherent thing, when the heart of the artist and the sound comes together, it's going to change the world, man. There'll be a harvest again. I really believe it, man. And it's Kanye?
So okay, I'm going to ask you about that.
I don't know, man.
So hopefully I won't trigger anybody watching.
No, let's not. We don't want to trigger people. We're just talking.
No, I do want to trigger people.
Well, you do. I'm the even keel guy. Exactly. I'm the good cop, bad cop. Right. Here we go.
Well, here's why I bring that up, because a lot of the Torah people, you got to remember, we've talked about this. We've talked about this in the show a lot. We talk about it in this a lot.
Right, man.
You know, if your Torah goes before you, before Jesus and the spirit of love, mercy, kindness, grace, then you're a Pharisee. Well,
yes,
Christians can be Pharisees too without the Torah, as we're seeing.
Easy.
Okay. Quick. And so a lot of the Torah community are anti-Kanye West and his whatever's going on with him, because well, they have to be, because they're better than the rest of us. I don't know if you knew that. If you do Torah, you're better than everybody else.
Got the feeling.
Yeah. So at some point in this conversation, we'll have to let people know that you actually aren't 100% Torah observant. Which is
I'm still learning. I'm growing in that. To just honestly give a foundation there, though, the process that the Lord has had me in for the last 12 years, honestly, I didn't learn that I was supposed to be a worship leader and lead prophetically. So he said, good, go lead in a church for 12 years.
Yeah.
In churches, and see how that does you.
Yep. Did you hear that, people?
I'm humbled.
Right. And if anybody watched Chad Schaefer's show last night, what's the name of the show, Kevin? Something Lands. If anybody watched Chad's show last night, Ian Chadwick, I think was the guest, talked about that. He goes, I know this is going to trigger a whole bunch of the Torah people, but I go to Sunday church. And I'm like, better than all these people that aren't. Anyway, we've talked about all this stuff in this show, and people know about this stuff. So anyway,
you can pray for me that I would understand better. and the Feast Unlocked is helping. It's very good. It's very good.
Right.
I want to grow my children up to be men, and especially my older boys who are getting ready to leave the house pretty soon, that they would know the Lord, that would hear his voice and move. I can tell you what, even though I'm not 100% Torah observant right now, like, I want to hear from the Lord, and I do.
Right. Oh, and I know that.
And I know you know that, man.
Yeah.
And I'm growing on the other side of things. I truly am. Man.
Deuteronomy 6. It's all about Deuteronomy 6.
Yeah, man.
So anyway, and I didn't say that to throw you under the table. I called Jeremy. I don't call the rest of y'all. Disputed lands. Thank you, Wendy. So like when it came to the feast book, it's like, guess who I sent manuscripts of this to before it was published?
Yeah.
This guy. Guess who I sent manuscripts of before?
That was so good. I wept like a baby when I was reading it. Oh my God. My wife was like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm great. This is awesome.
Oh my gosh. So this Kanye thing, man, it's
a huge controversy on both sides. On the secular side too.
Right. But here's what I love about
it. Man.
It's not my problem. It's not my circus. It's not my monkeys. He's not my servant. I don't judge another man's servant, and I don't know the guy personally, so it's not my problem. But here's what I do love about it. I love how he's triggering people of faith,
yes,
into their heart of Pharisee, right? Here's what Christians and Torah observant people are losing their minds about.
Yeah.
Oh, he's married to a Kardashian or whatever. Oh, he just called himself Mr. Billionaire. Oh, he's this, he's that. Oh, he should give all his money away. Really? Oh, then if that's true, let me give you my address and my bank account number, and
you give all your money away.
Muppet. Oh, I mean, the list goes on. Oh, he's not truly called of God because. Oh, I mean, on and on and on and on.
Do you know why this is happening right now?
I have an idea, but go ahead. What?
I mean, Balaam's donkey, man.
That too. Well,
somebody.
How long have I been talking about? Oh, you know what?
You're going to hand it over, man.
Right. So Jeremy will. So my audience, this audience, the Committed Church Show audience, has heard me talk about this. I wrote about it in this.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I think, was one of the first guys I reached out to regarding this when the Lord showed me, oh, look, all these Christian bands won't do this, so I'm going to use corn.
Right. Yes. Brian Welsh, man.
Oh my God.
Who now goes out and now the Christian, oh, how could he be a Christian? He went back to the band. So obviously he's not really a Christian. He's just doing it for money and publicity. Listen to me. If you're doing it as a Christian in the Christian industry, you can't do it for money because there is no money in it. I don't get a start.
It just cracks me up though, because it's like, oh, all these Christian bands won't heal the sick, cast out demons, raise the dead, but corn will. So I'm going to use them.
Dude, it goes right out before the show and goes down the line. Hey, does anybody need prayer?
Right.
Talk about being bold, man.
Right. And so
talk about that's like Sean Bolt's crazy bold, man.
Right. So when it comes to Kanye West, he's not. I don't know him personally, so I can't. I've met Brian.
I'd like to.
With Brian.
Me too. I've sat in the room with Brian many times.
Yeah. I know where he's at.
And he's awesome.
Right.
By the way.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when it comes to, it's like, but I love how he's triggering people of faith, both on the Torah side and the non-Torah side, because they're
this barrel and that barrel.
Yeah. Because here's what I'm hearing. Why is he eating with tax collectors? Why is he around the table?
He can't do a church.
Right. Why is he
entertaining
prostitutes and tax collectors and sinners? Oh, look, he's come eating and drinking. That's all I hear. I hear exactly what the Pharisees said about Jesus to disqualify him.
Man.
And how well, and you know what? And you know what Jesus said to them? Aren't you part of the group of people that killed the prophets? And they're like, no, that wouldn't have been us. Right? Because that's what I hear. In 2019, I hear Christians and Torah observers tell me the same thing. I would never have rejected Jesus. I would never have questioned him with who he hung out with and who he ate with. And I'm like, liar. You're just like the Pharisees who were killing the prophets, because you're about to try to kill him.
So what's
Kanye? And you do it to Justin Bieber, and you do it to me. So don't tell me I'm not an idiot. I'm smarter than you are.
If we're not living truly in love and putting some trust in the gap, we don't like to put trust in there's a gap of understanding, a gap of knowledge here. There's what you know and what's happening over here, and you don't know the middle part, but we want to put judgment right in the middle of that gap. Just judgment, judge. Well, I can just see it. So there's time for discernment. Totally get that. There is time for discernment. There's time when somebody says, I just don't think Revelations is real. That's going to happen. So it will be, and you'll see it. You know what I mean? I just don't know if the Torah is really true, if we should work. Well, if you tried it for a while, and this is where I'm at, look what God does and look at the blessings in your life after you do it for a bit. Follow Shabbat and see what happens.
Right. So in June, I'm on Root Awakening talking about this thing is spiritual. And I actually bring up, it's in the show. You can go back and watch it. I actually tell Scott, I go, it's really difficult for your audience to comprehend what it is we're talking about. We're talking about when God woos, or when God interacts, or when God makes himself real to a celebrity. Your audience is going to have a really hard time with that. But if we were talking about Joe the plumber from across the street, no problem.
No
I
sweat.
go, celebrities are people too. They're just like you and I.
Right.
It hasn't. There's nothing different there.
Except there's influence. And anytime we see somebody with influence, there's this innate part of us that says, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had that. Ooh,
Right.
I want to. Ooh, why don't I have that?
It's that jealousy thing.
Jealous, and that's not from God. That's not from the Spirit.
They don't even know that's what they're doing. It's like anti-Semite spirit. But when people manifest anti-Semitism and they don't actually know they're manifesting anti-Semitism,
Dude.
most of the church is manifesting a jealous spirit because they want Kanye West's bank account and they want to be sleeping with the Kardashians.
They want the blessings of Israel. Right? Well, I mean, it's now different. Well,
right. And they don't understand that's what's going on. But we're not. I mean, that's what I can see. I'm
listening. I'm listening.
Right.
I'm watching interviews. I'm discerning. I'm going, okay, dude, everything he said there, I'm like, that's what I want to go hang out with him. I want to hear what he's talking about. I want to be in the room when his mother-in-law comes in and is, you know, I don't.
Mother-in-law when his in-law comes in.
Then the in-laws come in. Like, I want to be there. Like, how does he react to that? Like, what is the Spirit of God doing in that moment? Holy cow, what an opportunity.
Bruce is coming over. He's watching old films from the Olympics. Hey, Bruce. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, my God.
Okay, now you're going. Okay. So here's the deal. It's real. And so now what do we do with as believers? We try to have discernment. We listen, but we put some trust in the gap. Lord, may this be true. And may your glory shine through this with all the junk. Let your glory rise. And you know what's going to happen? I really believe this. Like, if he's really real, he's going to start fading from the scene.
Right. And see, that's what you do. You do what you just said. You do what Joe just said, right? Test all things and also live with
yes.
Right? You test it. You know, you pray for the guy, someone else too. You do that. You pray for the guy, you pray for the family, you pray for the scenario, blah, 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 blah. But you don't do what people are doing publicly out there.
No.
Talking the smack that they're talking.
Because we're in this society of quick response, of I'm hiding behind my screen, social media, blah, 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 blah. Now I can let out of my heart, my mouth speak without nobody seeing my lips move.
Yeah. And we've talked about that here on the show. Yes. Where I've had Torah terrorists online come at me like this at my throat, live in front of everybody, and then I physically met them in August, and they were shriveled up, dude. And I'm like, "What's up now, buddy? You're like stronger than I am. You're bigger than I am. You could probably take me, but where's your?" I'm like, I'm right here. Let's go.
What are we doing?
All that tough guy stuff that you were doing to me online in front of everybody.
You know, it
Kevin
really
was there. Kevin knows who we're talking about and he saw it.
Was that here in Ohio?
Yeah.
I know where you were at. Yeah, buddy.
Gosh. It was like, wow. I've heard about it. I've heard about tough guys online, but never and then they shrink in real life. I've heard about it, but I've never experienced it. I was like, wow, this is actually a thing.
It's called bullying.
It's really weird. It's really bizarre. I'm a real guy. You know, if anybody known me,
really,
right here, that I am in real life as I am in my house or in your house.
Big time.
There's one version of me, and this is it. Yeah. Oh, and you know what I tell these people, Jeremy? You're lucky you get the 2019 version.
I knew that 08 and forward, and that took a little bit of, you know, a little bit of extra sugar in there to get it down a little bit. And I loved you every step of the way, bro.
People don't understand. They get the 2019 version of me. They don't get have to deal with the 2008 version.
I've seen your heart, but I've seen your heart be humbled because the Lord is doing something in you.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, one of the things that I've really been seeking God after recently is this whole idea of musicians. I got my musician shirt on. Like, you know as well as I do, Allan, in the music industry, and even specifically the Christian music industry, so many artists either get signed to a label, even if they do, I mean, obviously there's all the stuff that happens before the big idea where you get signed to a record label and you're making progress in an industry where you might actually be making a living, or at least traveling a lot and have some notoriety. When that starts to happen, a lot of times the truth comes out about where you're really at in life, even though you're singing songs about God and stuff like that. And maybe God's been working there and things have been happening. But there's another side of that. There's this self-awareness thing that I've been working on a lot. I mean, honestly, a lot. And so you're talking about who you were in 2008 and who you are in 2019 is a different person,
Right.
because you've gone through a process with the Lord on self-awareness.
I'm a hollow shadow of.
But sometimes we have to. It takes longer than other times, and so I've been working really hard at understanding who I am. By going through some coaching, by taking some coaching classes to help other people go through that too. And I'd love to just tell you guys a little bit about like my next thing coming up, that one of the things is some new music coming, that if you would like to see it or hear it, it's going to be a little bit here, but you can always just, you follow me on Twitter. It's my first name.
Yeah, Kevin already posted like your in your Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, it's all Jeremy Y. Yoder's my last name and Jeremy is my first name. My friends called me Jeremy growing up, but it's actually pronounced Jeremy. It's just weird. So I have to be pretentious and say, no, it's Jeremy. That's one of those humbling things that God takes you through in life. Anyway, so you can follow me on all that stuff. And so I'll be presenting stuff pretty soon here. It's just, I'll probably shoot out a couple ideas of some songs coming up. And then I'm going to launch a Patreon probably in the next month or so, just to, have people come along in the process with me as I create this music. But why is it every time people create good music that is prophetic, why do we give it to the church?
Because we don't. So that reminds me of a Chuck Pierce prophecy from 2008. And I remember looking at this with Anthony Smith. You know about Anthony Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in 2008 at the Riley Agency offices on South Side on Lamar in Dallas, we're looking at this prophetic word in my office and going, what do we do about this? Yeah. He's basically saying, learn how to navigate shipping routes. Like the routes that ships take around the world. Yeah, around the world. I just triggered half my audience. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Learn how to navigate shipping trade routes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, trade routes. You know how because the containers will start in Hong Kong or whatever, and then they go through or whatever to show up in Long Beach or San Pedro in LA. Right. Learn how to navigate trade routes, he said, was something like that, the prophetic word in 2008. And we're like,
trade routes.
It's just like, it's like a Lance Wallnauism.
So anyway, like my question is that here's what I've been struggling. This is what I've been.
So that's why we take it to the church, because we don't know our trade routes outside of the church.
Because it's scary outside of our bubble.
Yeah.
And people will say, how could you do that? How could you be in the world and do your music? How could you? And Kanye West is like, this is all I know. And God's like, yes. This is all I know to do. This is my sphere of influence, and I'm just taking it to my sphere of influence, and I'm doing worship in the middle of the streets in Watts.
Yeah.
Using a secular song, but making it something that people can relate to, but praising the Lord Most High with it.
Right.
Ooh, that's some teetery ground there for a lot of people, man. That's like, I don't know. Yeah. But what if the sound came down from an artist's heart that was really truly following, man, and that you knew, man, and then the art had this power behind it? The world's going to capture that and go, I want that. Because Saul following the Lord? The Spirit just left him. But the music and the heart of David transformed something and the spirit left? What if we could start getting the spirits to leave people by the music that we're doing? I get all verklempt, man. What if somebody put on a track on Spotify and they were like transported and God started downloading to them the things they're supposed to do in life, their purpose, their real thing, by just listening to a song, and they're like, what is going on? And the spirits left. The spirits left whole households. The spirit left blocks because it's being blared out on. What if, man? Sorry.
See, that's the thing. That's why it's so confusing. Well, it's not confusing to me. It's very telling why people are so tripped out about this Kanye thing or any celebrity. And I brought this up on Rude Awakening.
Yeah.
Is your celebrity godlessness more powerful than my God?
Oh gosh, man.
Or is my God incapable of actually accessing a David Bowie or a Mark Cuban or a Kanye West or a George Clooney? Is my God lacking in power or influence that his arm is so short, like dinosaur arms, T-Rex arms, that he can't reach out into that realm and speak and convert or change or have someone repent? Because that's what you're telling me. You're telling me either God doesn't love these people or is incapable or is powerless to, and or those people's rebellion is more powerful than my God. Which one is it? Because it's one of those two.
Dude, it has to be. Like, so I don't know.
The truth.
I just don't know, like, as a man in my 40s who has a family and I don't know that I would be able to navigate where some of these people are anyway. Like, this is a whole other level of spiritual warfare that we're down here dabbling in church politics and crap, and I can't believe that guy would say this about me. Wah. Okay, what if 250 people were saying the same thing about you and saying they're going to find you and blow your car up? How are you going to deal with that when you can't barely deal with one person and go to them and talk to them one-on-one?
I know.
So
I can't tell you how often my wife and I just look at each other and think about, look at how God spared us from celebrity, because that's where I was headed. I mean, I was already kind of already there. Totally. It's just scary. You know what I mean? It's like, in something we learned a long time ago through Lance and through like what happened in Guatemala with the presidency, what we've watched, as far as the mountains, the 7 mountains, is like how demonic the government mountain is. Yeah. It's so demonic that the Torah people, see, you got to remember, most Torah people live in absolute fear because they don't understand like the 7 mountain thing.
Yeah. Right.
Illuminati. No, what they don't understand is it's so demonic up at the top of the political
dude.
And if shouldn't you, little Torah Muppet guy, be more powerful than that demonicness? So then why are you so afraid of it, and why are you always talking smack about it, and why are you doing everything to avoid being involved?
And so you'll never get to the point
about it and offer no solution. Quit bitching about everything.
Right.
Offer a solution.
Because you'll never get to another level that he wants to take you. See, God wants to elevate us into those positions, but we'll never get there if we don't do the self-work first, and recognize what we're supposed to really do now.
And Christians on either side of the
other side,
Torah or non-Torah, have no idea what we just said. The majority of them. Now, I'm not suggesting you climb the entertainment mountain or the political mountain unless you're supposed to be there, because you will die.
You will die, or you'll just get run over, and you'll just go the way that everybody else goes.
You won't even get there. You'll die on the way up.
Yeah, right.
So, and people don't understand this because they don't. It's easier. See, again, it's easier it's easier to say that charismatica is Kundalini spirit than it is to do the work of getting before the Lord and learning and letting the Holy Spirit teach you. Well, discerning the Holy Spirit. Let's start there. Let alone speaking in tongues, healing the sick, casting out demons, raise the dead. It's a lot easier to just say, "Oh, it's demonic." It's what the Pharisees did. It's the Pharisaical playbook. Instead of actually doing the work of finding out who you are, Jesus, I'm just going to go with the false narrative that you're from Nazareth and Messiah doesn't come from Nazareth.
Right.
See how easy and convenient that is?
Yep.
Because the enemy makes it easy and convenient for you not to be what it is you're supposed to be.
Yep.
Because if you're not speaking in tongues, healing the sick, casting out demons, and raising the dead, you're worthless. You're well, I'm not gonna say let me take that.
That's the Allan of 2019 right there. You just stopped, dude. That is so beautiful. You just stopped yourself. You're self-aware, and you wait, let me stop there. You're not worthless. There is some help. There's some hope. But say what you want to say, Allan.
You're not functioning, and you're
Yes.
contributing.
Yes.
You're not a contributing factor if you're not doing those things.
Yes.
And you're hurting yourself.
And
leaders are supposed that don't lead hurt others. Don't do that. So submit to God and figure this stuff out and start doing it so that you can do what you're supposed to be doing. But to do what the Pharisees did, he's from Nazareth, so he can't be the Messiah. That's an easy cop-out, but that's what the enemy wants. The enemy would rather have you believe that what we're doing is Kundalini spirit than the actual work of figuring the Holy Spirit out. And he'd rather have you believe that the Seven Mountain is Illuminati and secret society with the new apostolic reformation.
So let's spend all of our time spinning our wheels,
instead of actually doing something.
Instead of going into your closet
and
putting the shawl over your head and humbling yourself.
Take that, Torah people. Yeah. Because
you come in and you humble yourself before the Lord and you get right. And it might take 5 years. It might take 12 years for you to get there. But that's good.
As long as, because hopefully you're not talking smack in those 5 years.
Maybe you're off of social media. Like if you look at my social media stuff, there's nothing about music. It's about my son playing soccer. Because that's where I'm at in life right now. And I know that's not my place right now is to talk about music and things like that. I mean, there's some things, but not like I'm not doing yet because God hasn't told me to do that yet. I'm in a hibernation period. I'm in a processing period. So I'm not throwing a bunch of stuff out there so that I can try to get famous when I'm not supposed to be famous, or I can try to do something when I'm not supposed to do something. I'm just saying.
Right.
So slow your rolls when I'm trying and go into your closet and spend your heart, waste it on Jesus, waste your talent, waste your time, waste your day with him. Just waste it all. Just give it to him. If you could waste anything, waste it on Jesus, and he will show you the path to take. He will speak. He says he will guide your path. He will direct your steps.
I will guide you with my eyes.
Yes. Over and over in Scripture, we see that.
When I saw that for the first time when I was 17, because everybody knows I had no reference experience. So when I first read that, I will guide you with my eyes. I was like, this personal relationship thing is really personal.
For real.
He wants me to position myself and allow him to guide me with his own eyes.
Yeah, man. Good stuff, dude. Whew. So I wasn't hoping to talk about any of this. This is great, dude.
This is a Chameleon Church show.
Wow. I mean, the point I really feel like we're at, like when we truly humble ourselves, and I don't mean just like, I'm going to do some nice things for people, but when we do things in the private area of our lives, and we really seek God in the quiet place, really mean it too, and we don't tell people about it. I was in the prayer closet today, and I was this, and
earlier today I was in the prophetic.
And I got this. I go, you know what? I was feeling this, Allan. Blah 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 blah. And you go, yes.
Well, that's what I try to tell. And we've told people on this show before. My wife and I, the Holy Spirit will tell us something, and within days, a Chuck Pierce or a Lance Walnut or somebody out there will get it, and we'll get a couple confirmations. We're like, okay, yes, we're on track.
Then we know we're right. Then we know we're tracking, because it's all open-handed, right?
And it's one spirit.
Yes, which is beautiful. Which is what makes this thing. It's so unfair to Satan, poor guy. Because he doesn't, it's all wish-wash for him. But for us, we're together, we're unified. We should be unified, church, people, believers in Jesus, right? I say church globally, not church,
Right.
but global church. We're supposed to be unified. And Allan and I are unified in our hearts. And we know that, man, if I got something, I can go to him. And he'll be like, dude, boom, boom, boom. This is what I'm seeing. And I'll continue to pray, hold that loosely. But here's what I'm seeing, man. And then we'll pray together. And then he might even go, you know what? I'm thinking this too. You may want to think about this. Why don't you go watch this Lance Wallnau thing on this, or you know what I mean? And so we're unified. And I know that a lot of you out there may be just floating by yourselves, man. That's not how this thing works. You can't just float by yourself. You have to surround yourself in community. Maybe this is your community. I mean, it could be, but you got to be close, and you've got to because sometimes we hear things and Satan likes to whisper, and it sounds a lot like God, man. Because he presents himself as an angel of light. He wants to make it look like, oh, that's the right thing to do. That sounds really, really good.
Bill Johnson says because he doesn't have any authority, because Jesus took all authority from him and gave it to us, that all he can do is do that until he finds someone to agree with him.
And sometimes we agree too quickly. Oh yeah, that's where. Oh yeah.
So about 20 minutes ago, were you done with that thought?
Yep.
Okay. So about 20 minutes ago, a name popped up because based on something that you said, Angelo.
Oh, Angelo.
I don't think I've talked. I don't know if I've ever told these people about Angelo. Angelo's a friend of ours. Angelo. I don't know why the name popped up.
Like, okay, so would I pick him to run a ministry and take bands out on a tour? No. No. When I first met Angelo, man, he was
he said no.
Like, no way, man. He was one of those guys where I was like, oh, this punk kid, he is like, wow, he's got issues. And God has taken him, man, and he's opened his heart.
He brought me this hat from Camden.
Dude, man.
They were here.
He travels the world now.
They flew from England to Utah, and they brought me this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I just saw him in what was it, July?
And his wife.
Yeah.
That's crazy enough. But yeah, like one of those God stories where you're just like, man, there's no way he's going to be used by God. He's going to suffer and struggle and try to make it big in the music industry and end up like everybody else. And
I'm making a note to have him be on. I'm going to have him on this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Can you do a 3 call? Because I like to look in the background.
Yeah, we definitely can do that.
You should do Ted too. Ted would be interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe. But like the people that you least think would be the people that would be the ones. I mean, what it's kind of biblical. I mean, chosen the least of these to present this truth. I mean, and now if we're not crying out, he's going to choose the rocks. So now maybe the not so least.
Yeah.
I'm saying Kanye, like he's one of those guys. You're like, why would God choose him?
Yeah. Angelo's awesome. I mean, we both love and honor and respect.
Absolutely.
And we honor the Spirit of God in him.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so we should probably introduce him to these people.
That'd be great, man. Oh goodness. So I can't. Hey, when I don't want to. What else are we going to talk about, man? This is great. Any other point? I mean, this is good.
What else would you like to talk about?
Well, I don't got nothing, man. Except for I love mentoring musicians, man. And that's one of the things besides music. Like I really feel like coaching and mentoring musicians is that next thing for me too. And I don't know if you're any musicians out there, but if you ever like are in a space where you're like, man, I'm not sure what to do next. And you're not sure that I talked about the objective this year of alignment and aligning yourself to God's purpose, like going, oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then when you hear it, humbling yourself and aligning with what God wants you to do, not doing the business plan and getting all that stuff together and then going out and making an album. That's what the world does. And it works great for a while, right? But really aligning with your purpose that God has made you for, musician, artist, out there, like what is that thing? And if you're struggling with that, finding your purpose and stuff, man, I would love to have a conversation with you. So you can go to musicmentor.coach, and there's a quick survey there, and let's talk, man. That's what I'm doing. Another thing I'd like to just love on musicians, man, and coach. So, and by coaching, I don't mean like give you a bunch of things to do. It's not like mentoring where I have to have the information, which I got some information. I've been around. I was signed to a record label. I did that thing, blah, blah, blah. And now I've been 12 years at churches. So it's a whole different story. But like coaching is more like asking really good questions to get to the heart of where you're at. Maybe a little self-development, personal development too, helping you to recognize who you are, and then maybe what God is doing and the purpose for your life, and then clicking into that and getting aligned. So musicmentor.coach. You can check that out.
Yeah. And then we also put your Facebook up there, and we put your YouTube up there.
YouTube, I've been on that thing forever.
I'm trying to get Angelo to pop in here for a minute.
No way.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, that would be awesome.
Click that link.
He's like, what? He's probably on his phone. That's awesome. If Angela joins us, you guys, this would be a special treat. I'm just saying. I wish I could read all the comments as we're going here.
Don't you see them on the right on the side?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, go ahead and read some.
Peeps to our peeps. Okay. I'm going back up. There's a lot of just little comments of people talking together. It's a community. I love it. So good.
Yeah, so he's about to click that link. So give us a minute, and we'll. We are all crazy and shit. Yeah.
Bob Hall, what's this comment? Suckers get pruned. And then Joe says, pruned, and that helps with growth. That's the truth, actually.
So have you done any of these YouTube interview type thing, Majiggers?
Me? Yeah, a couple things, but not like this. Not in this like live forum type of thing.
Oh, really?
It's great. More like interview, like webinar kind of stuff. But
oh yeah.
But again, I'm just still kind of at the edge of like the next thing that God is doing in my life, going from weekly worship leader to something different. Right. And so I'm starting to feel that. So for you to call me, I was like, okay, God, yes, I'll do this. You know,
so this weekend, are you going to a third-party recording studio, or are you going to record it yourself?
No, I'm going to a third party. A really good friend of mine in Iowa. Go to Iowa to record. I don't know. But he's starting a. Go
visit my friend in Iowa. He's a photographer.
Oh yeah, who's that?
He just converted. So he comes here, spends like a week with us.
Really?
Chameleon Church. This is like 5 years ago. We meet on. He's an old fan. Meets online. You know, we've met online. Awesome guy. So he drives all the way here from Iowa. Wow. Spends like 10 days with us. Does all these various photo shoots of the whole community. Kind of like a little, I don't know, like a photo blog.
Yeah.
Of Chameleon Church. Goes back and then converts. He converts to Catholicism.
Oh, okay.
It's like, no, keep going. 300 more years, dude. Anyway, awesome. Oh man, Keith Nestor, I believe his name is. Awesome.
Wait, whoa.
You know Keith?
I know the name, man.
Let's see if we're even friends.
Keith Nestor. That name is real familiar.
Keith Nestor. He's in Iowa.
That name is super familiar, man.
We don't have a lot of mutual friends. Let me see if you're one of them.
I might be.
You're not. Anyway, he's awesome, and he's in Iowa. Where's Jeremy?
Oh, did they go away?
No. Where's freaking Angelo?
Oh.
Anyway, so maybe he's putting on his leather jacket. Okay, so then you're going, man, you know how badly I want to go into a third-party recording studio and make a record where I don't have to do anything but be the artist? That's like...
What's God saying? What's God saying?
I have been making my own records since 1997, 98. Oof. Hey!
He's upside down.
Am I?
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, it's weird. I guess the
You're still now. You're
this is
left side down.
okay.
One more time. Another 90
What?
degrees. Yep. There it is. There it is.
Okay, that's odd.
What's up, Angelo?
What's up?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, I miss you.
I miss you too.
Where you at?
I am at home. I am in the middle of I'm eating. I don't even want to say. I'm just at home. I'm about to eat some food. My wife made me. So here's the thing. We're
about to eat some
moving.
tacos.
I mean, okay. So,
Tacos. I had some Feel City tacos shipped in. Oh, there he is.
Yes, tacos. Tacos for breakfast. Let's go.
I am that stereotypical.
I was just in the prophetic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
awesome.
So.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we're live, and there's a whole bunch of people watching. Well, I don't even know how many people are watching, but they're going, "Oh my god, what just happened to him? What's going on?" That was awesome.
Yeah.
You're eating freaking tacos, and you that was awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Angelo?
Oh man, we're moving. We're moving soon, and I was up at the new place till 10 o'clock installing flooring last night.
Whew.
And so I slept. So I just woke up when you were like, hop on. I thought I was going to be on a phone call. And I'm literally sitting in my bed and I was like, oh crap, it's a camera. So I made my wife throw a hat at me.
I told Jeremy you were looking for your leather.
No, man.
Yeah, my leather pajamas.
So I do a show. I don't know if you know, but every Tuesday morning I do a show, and have been doing it for about a year and a half. And
you used to play music too, right?
What's that? I used to play music too, yeah. And and so I had Jeremy on this morning, and we're basically wrapping up the show here. And your name popped up in my head about half an hour ago. So I thought, you know what? Let's see what he's doing. Are
you teasing me with my water bottle?
Oh no! He left something here.
You left your water bottle in Utah. That's awesome.
He left his water,
his
55-gallon drum container here, and I haven't shipped it to him yet. Sorry. It's not like something I think about when I wake up. You know, I probably should take it out of wherever it is and put it somewhere in the middle of the house so I can remember it.
You'll never get it, dude.
So I thought, you know what? I should have Angelo on one of these days on my show, like the whole show. And that's when I thought, you know what? I'm going to wake him up. Apparently wake him up at what time? It's like 10 o'clock over there.
It's 10 o'clock here. Yes. I
went to bed. I went to bed 12 hours ago.
No, well, I went to bed at 4. So, you know,
there you go.
I was working. I was there. Then I came home and then, you know, did things.
Hung out. That's good. How's Kim, man? How's she doing?
She is fantastic. Most incredible woman in the world.
So you guys moving like the whole tour house thing, or what's going on?
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, Angelo is on staff at the Extreme Tour and the Objective, and he's one of the guys that goes out with the bands and directs the tour, and he's on staff. Has been there. They have a staff house, but they're moving, huh? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Moving back into the staff house?
No. So I have tacos in my mouth now because I thought Jeremy was going to talk a lot longer than that.
Sorry, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
No, you're good. We're just moving the staff house.
Gotcha.
All right, look at that. Desiree, this is old family. It's not new family. I've known these guys way too long. I've known Angelo since the Dallas days, like way back Spyglass Blue Dallas days.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking the 90s. And I've known Jeremy 11 years. I've known these people longer than I've known all you Torah nuts.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Hey, I just want to clarify for the tour.
Oh my gosh, you're eating pork, aren't you?
No, I'm eating beef chorizo. And
good,
I
that's
know that
good.
there's like some weird thing about that. I don't know what it is. I keep getting reprimanded by. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Um,
Oh my
I
god.
did just come back from a trip to the Bahamas where there's a lot of shrimp. So forgive me, Lord. Is it weird that I want to apologize more to the guys that are always telling me what a heretic I am than to like the convictions I have towards Jesus and what he's working me through.
What he's working you through, bro.
So I let it about a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago. I let people know that I was going to have people on here as guests because I haven't done that. And I let them know some of these people are not Torah observant, and you're just going to have deal with it. And some of these people might. I mean, I could bring on non-Christians on here too. I know, a lot of people.
Is it okay if I tell people I think the world is round? Also,
See,
yeah, we kind of went through that already a little bit.
Okay.
See, I have my world is pretty big. I don't live in a world like this. I live in a world like this. And it has all sorts of people in it. You know,
but isn't the Bible? But isn't the Bible only this thick?
That's right.
Oh,
I have non-Christian friends. I have pagan friends. I've got Christian friends. I've got Torah Christian friends. I've got non-tongue speaking friends. I have tongue speaking friends. I mean, I have Christian friends that can't discern between an angel and a demon. I have
no one's told Allan yet. His tongue speaking friends are just French people talking about him in front of him.
Oh my gosh! I run with the best of them. I can hang out with the white collar guys in the morning and gangsters at night.
The truth, man.
Angelo's eating. So he's eating beef chorizo.
Yeah. But I think the bigger abomination is that they're cherry tomatoes and not bigger tomatoes. But you work with what you got. So.
Oh my gosh!
Gosh, it's good to see you, man.
I love you guys. Y'all need to come visit soon,
dude. I was hoping to like this last month, but man, I've just been swamped and it's just crazy now. But like spring, man, I'll be there.
Word. I love you guys.
Love you too. We're gonna call it here. We're gonna let you eat your chorizo in peace, your beef chorizo in peace, your tacos,
let's do it.
Your Fuel City tacos.
Man, I feel like next time I'm gonna have to have like my product list of all the ingredients of my food. Actually, I won't be eating next time. So yeah, I love you guys, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Hey, Angelo.
Uh-huh.
You do my show for me? Will you be on my show?
Yes, but it'll be a while.
Like,
you tell me. Let's talk later.
All right, man.
I'll tell you all that's going on. I love you guys. Love you, Jeremy.
Love you, buddy.
All right, bye, man.
Give Kim a hug.
Yeah, man.
I will.
Go and punch Ted for us. Bye.
Okay.
Oh, I miss him so much, man.
Angelo.
We had so many times on tour times we laughed and cried and shared ministry and were frustrated and all those things that go along with it.
Here's something you don't know about Angelo, which you will hear about when he's on my show, and that's he could have been an absolute bona fide rock star at the level of like Lecrae level rapper, and his band in Dallas was just
slamming, huge,
like steamrolling over everything and everybody, man.
Yep.
And God's just like, and he's like, you need to jump off this out of control this rocket locomotive and come serve me. And situation, this and that and the other, he does. And of course he comes to the Extreme Tour because he's already been involved with Ted and all of us. And he's like angry and mad and pissed off at God because it's like, this guy was rapping when he was like what 10, 12 or 14 years old with Louie, with Nikki Cruz and stuff. Like, I mean, we're talking, it's an amazing story. This guy could be and I won't say should because God's will, right? But this guy could be a bona fide Lecrae level rapper. That's where he was headed. That's the train he was on when God said, dude, if you don't jump off right now, you'll die.
Yeah.
Because you've been avoiding this for 20 years. Jump off now or die. And he jumped off.
It's awesome.
And we've been doing this. So while we're in Dallas doing the Jesus thing, he's in Dallas trying to do his own thing. And in our lives with my kids, they keep intersecting. My kids would see him at clubs and at parties, and they're like, "Hey, Angelo, how's it going?" And he's like, he was like, "I'm doing good." Because we love them. When you love people into a right relationship with Jesus, and you run into them at night in the clubs or whatever, they're like, "Oh," and we're like.
Or you could be doing good with the Lord and know that you're supposed to be at the club and hanging out and meeting people, right?
Right, because we're like this. I love you, brother, no matter where you're at. And they're like, oh. So we would do this with Angelo. We did that for a couple decades in Dallas. And now he's
serving the Lord.
He's serving now. He's
married and
bona fide, man. He's been right. You've heard me tell people 2 to 3 years of consistency.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's doing it, man. He's got more than that under his belt right now. Yeah. And he's thriving in the Father. The Lord is blessing him. He's married. Kim's awesome, dude.
Oh gosh, she's great, man.
It's an awesome testimony. And that's our brother Angelo, and we love and bless Angelo in his new move in Jesus' name.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we're over the top of the hour. I'm going to pray for us. And Jeremy, thank you so much for sharing my Tuesday morning cup of Joe with the Chameleon Church. And speaking of Chameleon Church, look what I stole from my granddaughter. She's like, awesome. You can't have it, but you can use it. Of course. So this is from a Disney show or something, but it's a chameleon.
Hey, how's she doing? Is your granddaughter, was she was sick?
Well, it's been a combination of both. My little grandson Ariel got really.
I thought it was your daughter.
Right, so he got sick at the beginning 2 weeks ago of week 1, where I was watching him and taking care of him. So he didn't have to because he couldn't go to nursery school. And then on Wednesday 2 weeks ago, I helped Tikva with her field trip at school.
Oh, I see.
So I'm surrounded by all these little kids everyone's, public and private school kids that are sick. And I'm just like, don't touch me. And then
has Julian been okay? Has Julian been okay?
Julian's been all right. And then on Thursday, it was another kid. So it was like kids for like a whole week. And then I got sick. Well, over the weekend, Ari ended up getting like really sick. They took him to the hospital because it was like, he couldn't walk or something, and it was something else. Anyway, it ended up being like so they said it was strep, but it wasn't strep, and it's really bad ear infection. So I've been juggling with that. Yeah. I think he was being also dramatic about it, but I've been dealing with, I was sick for 12 days. This is the best I have felt. I mean, I actually slept the last 2 or 3 nights because I wasn't able to sleep. At nighttime, I would start coughing for no reason. I'm like, how much of this is spiritual? And
yeah, man.
Oh wow. Yeah, so it's a bit. It was a bit going on. So anyway, Ari's been properly diagnosed. He's got an ear infection, so he's on proper meds.
Good.
Tifa's doing good. She was here because she threw up on Sunday. So she stayed here with me. I watched them yesterday. But she's better. I don't know what's going on today. It's just been but I think we're gonna pull Ari from nursery and find him a better place.
Yeah.
It's like a little, I don't know, it's like a little den of virus. Viral. It's just too much, man.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's too much. But anyway, Father, I want to pray blessing over Jeremy, and you're going into the studio this weekend. Father, blessing over Jeremy as he worships you, Father, the sounds of heaven, kingdom sounds of heaven, Father God. We bless you and protect you and your territory and your wife and your children and your finances as you go into the studio this weekend to record. And Father, we pray the sound, your kingdom sounds, would just flood him. The anoint, Father, we pray the Bezalel, isn't that his name? How did I forget his name all of a sudden? Hold on, let me get this name right. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Bezel, right?
Yeah.
Bezalel. How did I forget his name?
Bezalel.
Father, we pray the Bezalel anointing over Jeremy.
Ah.
The Bezalel anointing over you, Jeremy Yoder. Blessings, blessings, blessings in the name of Jesus of Nazareth. And we are all excited to hear these new sounds of heaven that you are capturing in the spiritual realm and bringing them down into the physical realm. You're reaching out, right, into the power of the age to come and bringing it into our now.
Receive that.
Thank you, Father. Mercy, 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 mercy. And we'll see you next week.
You're listening to Chameleon Church. Biblical Antidotes for the Modern Man. With your host, Allan Aguirre.